When people look at the projects or the properties that were a loss,
Everything that went wrong.
you start wholesaling. What happens then?
I'm the king of the world.
What CRM were you in, like when you first started?
I wasn't focusing on like the most revenue generating activities.
50% of your focus is wholesale, 50% is like trying to build and sell software.
I remember I was working from like 3 p.m. to 3 a.m.
You mentioned AI agents. What's an AI agent?
And I'm gonna call our AI agent.
Hello, this is Ava. Thanks for calling. Real quick, are you looking to sell your property?
Yes, I'm looking to sell.
Got it. What's got you thinking about selling?
All right, welcome back to the Revamp Podcast. Super excited today. Aldo, real estate investor, software founder, and dude, you just got a cool story, man. I relate a lot to it, obviously, on the software side and everything, and excited to have you on.
Appreciate it.
Dude,
Love it.
so let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved in real estate investing in the first place?
So I got started in real estate investor at the age of 18. At the time, I had like a cleaning business. I was helping a friend, and I was doing sales. And at that time, it was Nick Tang's event.
Okay.
And I thought that, oh, maybe I could get more people with like houses and businesses, get more clients to do more janitorial stuff. And then I went in there. I kid you not, I think the event started around 6. I got there around like 5. I remember I was in the bathroom for like an hour straight, just like washing my face. I was so intimidated.
Just because you were like nervous?
I was super nervous.
Yeah.
I was like going to a room full of people who were like 30 years old, 40 years old, right? Because people with like big money. I was like, and then they started talking about ARV or like rehab costs. I was like, what is all these like abbreviations? So then that event, I found my first mentor. His name is Greg Wright. And he was like, listen, come to this meeting with me, and then we're gonna go through like everything that you're doing, and then we're gonna talk about it. I was like, all right. So we went to the meeting. I was like, I got like 10 different items. It's like, screw all that. Focus on real estate. So then that's what I did. And then I was in his office. It had no windows. It felt like a prison.
Nice.
I was using Mojo Dialer, and this was like 2018, 2019. I was like sitting down. I was like, hey, are you looking to sell your home? And I was like cold calling like myself. Now people have people from like Egypt and stuff. So I
Right.
was cold calling. I was door knocking. And then we did a couple wholesale deals. 6 months after, I did my first fix and flip. And that wasn't through like family's money or anything. It was actually somebody else I met from Nick Tank's event. And I
Nice.
raised capital like the first time. Shout out to like Matt Fairclough, because I was reading his Raising Private Money book.
Okay.
And then I raised capital from there. He funded like the acquisitions and the rehab. So then I did that first rehab. I was over budget by like 30 grand. My first ever
Story of my
rehab.
life, bro. Story of my life.
And then I had so much issues. Like I didn't know construction. My GC left out on me. It was just a complete, like everything that went wrong. And then afterwards, we ended up finishing the project. I finished it. I took out like 30 grand out of like personal credit cards. I took out like business credit cards, and I still have the screenshots to this day. My credit score was actually 500, like 500-ish for the next 3 months. And I was like, get it sold. Within 24 hours of selling, we got it sold right away. And I remember I was in my like 2000 Honda Civic, and I was like blasting like rap songs. I was like, I'm the king of the world. And that was my first deal. And ever since then, I've been skill stacking. I went the real estate agent route, and I went to work for a big firm called Toll Brothers. And I went through their like Toll Brothers University, where I was in land acquisitions. I was in project management, doing like construction in their big project here in North Bank, or in Fishtown, called North Bank. And then I was doing sales with them, accounting. It was like all these stuff they taught me, but mostly in like project management, like dealing with sellers and dealing with buyers, like clients that wants to buy a new home, and also doing with constructions, dealing with the contractors. Like I was in the dump. Like I was literally,
You were in the weeds.
yeah, I was in the weeds, and then
Okay.
had a lot of experience within construction. Like I would wear so many hats. I kid you not. In a span of 15 minutes, I would yell at a contractor from like a far away. It's like, hey, wear your harness, or like, why are you just sitting around not doing anything? And then like the very next next minute, I was like talking to a homeowner. I was like, "Hey, welcome. This is your new home." Like, it was like ADHD on control on steroids. But
Nice.
ever since then, I work with in a home building side, transition into like the multifamily developments.
Okay.
So it's more finance heavy. Like, I realized that construction isn't everything in real estate. Like, I want to become a developer, and then transition into like the financial analyst role, where I was doing a lot of pro formas. I was looking at different like financial statements and things like that from asset management and acquisitions. I transitioned out of that into like a small boutique firm. And then just early last year, I was let go. And that's when I go gung ho on like the wholesaling. And that's when I start, testing out different softwares and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah, man. So let's go back to that first flip. You said you were like 30 grand over budget. Were you still profitable though when you sold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After like closing costs and agent, I think I got like 15, like 10 to 15, not that much, but for an amount of hassle, but it was more of the lessons that I've learned.
But dude, all things considered, it's like to be that wrong, right? It's like I messed up. I spent 30 grand more than I anticipated, and you still came out not only making money, but to your point, and the more important lesson there is you learned a lot through it.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
that's awesome.
Especially like I was working at the time. I was working at a bar called Tango, and that they shut down a couple weeks ago. But like I remember I was working from like 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. I was making like $250, which is okay for night shift, nightlife. But the very next day, that 250 went straight to the contractor for 2 hours of his work. I was like, oh, this sucks. I was stressed out. I was in school, but we got through it. I learned so much. And I think that after that experience, if this is what real estate is, it's like, let's do more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I say all the time. It's like when people look at the projects or the properties that were a loss, and there was a lot of things that went wrong, a lot of stress, a lot of headache, a lot of heartache. It's like there's still a lot of silver linings, even when you do legitimately lose money.
Yeah.
But more times than not, it's like, dude, I know guys that bought stuff in like 07, 08, and it's like they bought at the height of the market and then everything tanked and they just sat on it. And it's like, if they sold, if they exited all those years ago, it's like, yeah, they would have lost a lot of freaking money, but they didn't. They sat on it, and it's like, now it's worth significantly more. So what was once a really shitty deal, shitty investment, over time, it kind of became a good deal anyway.
You see that with developers too, right? As the interest rate changes, they were underwriting things at like what, like a 4 cap, 5 cap, or maybe even less, but or even more because higher cap rates. But like they were underwriting, thinking that they could make this much money, but then a couple of years, like, oh, interest rate got higher, and then construction just finished. Now it's time for us to refinance, and then now I think in Philadelphia, because of that tax abatement, they kind of stop. They kind of start building everything, and they're trying to put heads in beds, and I've seen a lot of people who lost money that way too.
Yep. All right, so fast forward, you start wholesaling. What happens then?
Yeah, so when I started wholesaling, I was testing out so many different things. And I kid you not, the first, I think I was let go around end of April, so like May. And then in June, like my first wholesale deal was like 45 grand.
Yeah, baby.
And I was like, holy hell. That was like half, maybe a little bit more half than what I was getting paid a whole year. On my W-2, I was like, all right, time to go all in on this.
Yep.
And that's what I've tried to do. And I was using so much different softwares, right? Launch control, then I had multiple different VAs. Like I wasn't focusing on like the most revenue generating activities. Like, what is that? And then for a CEO of a company, especially a real estate company, is like closing more deals. That's how you become sustainable in your company, in the business.
Yep.
So I wasn't focusing on that. I was like teaching my VAs of how to talk to sellers, or that teaching my VAs, they're like, hey, screenshot. It's like, make sure you respond back to the seller. And then they asked me, it's like, oh, what type of data do you want this month? I was like, I don't care. The most motivated one, the one that gets getting me more leads. Like, I don't care. This is supposed to be, your expertise.
Yep.
So I focus on not the most revenue generating activities, and then afterwards I start rolling out and trying out other people. Like I was working under someone else too, and I was like looking at their software. It's like, how do they work? What type of support and things like that. So I just got tired of it, and then I started building on my own.
Okay. So what CRM were you in like when you first started?
So when I first started, I was using Podio.
Podio. Okay.
And I think some people are still using Podio, and other people are transitioning into other platforms as well. And there are some like data providers who have their own kind of like light CRM. And I met people who are still old school with Google Sheets or maybe like just pen and paper.
Man, I can tell you, anybody that's doing that, they're not doing volume. They may be doing it and they may be real profitable and everything, but they're not doing volume. It's impossible, man.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Or they have better quality leads. That works too.
Right. It's such a necessity. And it's funny because like when I first started wholesaling, it was the same thing. Obviously, it's like you got to figure out softwares, you got to figure out systems, processes, and customize CRMs. And it's like, as I'm going through and configuring a CRM, and we were on FreedomSoft for many years, it was so frustrating to me because it's like, I don't fucking need this. You know, it's like, I can work from a Google Sheet and I can be good, you know? And it's like, my brain kind of thrives in chaos. But I knew you can't build a company that way, and you can't have multiple sales reps and everything, like following a system that sucks or is non-existent.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of time and effort and energy to set up. But once it did, it's like, okay, you know.
There are a lot of gaps in today's kind of realistic technology where they're all specialized into certain things. Like you have data, right? Then you have a CRM. Then you have like phone calling, or even like comping. Like everyone is at least using 5 or more different softwares. And I was like, it's not just the software itself. It's actually teaching your team of how to use the software. And then on top of it, like paying for the software, and then paying maybe a developer or like Zapier or N8N to connect the software to whatever it is that you're liking.
Yep.
Like the amount of time that goes into that, you should have been closing more deals and talking with more sellers.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But that's one of the flaws for probably most entrepreneurs is like, we're always looking for improvement. We're looking for ways that we can optimize and streamline things and everything, which is a productive quality. It's a productive trait and characteristic. However, more times than not, it's like you do end up going down a rabbit hole that you didn't really need to, that isn't really going to drive revenue. You know, so like my perfect story of that was when I thought that the shortcomings that we had with FreedomSoft, and like I said, we were on that for probably 5-6 years, and we got to a point, dude, we were bringing in like 30 contracts a month. Like we weren't closing 30 a month. I think we were closing maybe half of that, but it worked, right? It's like I have a big sales team on it. It works. But there were things that I couldn't customize, right? And it's like, I want to have more visibility into this, and I want to make sure that we don't have any leaky buckets in our follow-up. Like I wanted more things that I couldn't customize. So I knew a bunch of people at the time that were on like a decent custom Podio. So I hired a developer to build exactly what I wanted.
Right.
So it's like, whatever. I spent $10,000 and 3 or 4 months going back and forth with this developer. And I purposefully built it to solve all the shortcomings of our existing system. But once I plugged our sales team into it, it almost blew up my fucking company.
Right.
You know, because it's like you got all these people that are used to clicking the button that's here on this page to do this activity. And it's like, as a founder, even if you're non-technical, it's like when you're going through that development process with a developer, because at that point I was totally non-technical, it's like I'm still talking to them day in, day out. I see how the pages are laid out. I see where the buttons are. And it's like they're asking me for feedback. So I'm not thinking of the ramp up time of my entire sales team to learn this. So that was a mistake in hindsight.
Well, that's because I think you were in that process of developing it, right?
Sure.
So you know the ins and outs. You kind of build it in a way that you understand everything as you build.
Yep.
Your sales team were focusing on exactly that, sales.
Exactly.
So they weren't focused on like developing. Now, like whole new software, it's like, okay, I gotta learn. So this used to be that. Now it's like, hey, Drew, help me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of like wasted, time, and it should have been more productive, like closing more deals and then just hit simple buttons for them to, close the deal.
Dude, 100%. And like looking back in hindsight, all the time and forget the money, all the time and effort that I put in with the development team to build that CRM, if I had just allocated that time to doing more sales trainings, to driving more marketing, whatever,
Right.
it would have been so much better spent, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Now we got the help of AI.
That's true. That's true. AI is helpful.
Yeah.
All right. So you start wholesaling. How long into it were you before you started kind of building your own platform?
So after that first initial deal, I start working under someone in their dispo side. So I was like, we get deals coming in under contracts, and then I would reach out to different buyers around the area, but I didn't like it. The reason being, they're a nationwide wholesaler. So I didn't know any contacts in like Kansas or in like Idaho, like where some of these deals, or Missouri. Like I don't know these markets at all. So I have to learn the comping, and then we have to go through like a list of potential buyers, and I'm cold calling. Like I would prefer, like my market is in PA and New Jersey. Like I would focus more on that because I know people like you who maybe buy in Delco. I know people who might buy in New Jersey, right? So it's just easier for me. And I know for sure that, for example, like you can close and somebody else in New Jersey can close. So it's like, I prefer that. And I know the market ins and out. Like you tell me any zip code in Philadelphia, like I know what type of neighborhood they're in.
Yep.
So that's what I prefer. But I was doing that for a couple of months, and I was like, looking at their softwares too, and I was testing out the other softwares, and there were some stuff that I didn't like support. Like if I'm using them, like their own support, and sometimes the guy's like busy doing other things. There were some stuff that I'm still doing manually, and at the same time, when I transitioned to running my own shop, like I had 10 VAs at one time doing so much miscellaneous things, and when I learned about like AI and AI agents, and I started learning about like prompt engineering, and like, oh, you have all these AI stuff and like live chats and things like that. So I started learning more on that, and I start implementing my business, and I'm like slowly like removing my VAs, and they were like getting angry because like, oh, now you have AI. It's like, yes. And they're 24/7. If there's a typhoon in the Philippines, like I'm still okay. It's not like one person can't work and then like, oh, guess I won't make money today. So I start implementing AI agents, and then we were missing a missing piece, which is data. Now we have data as well, all within build as CRM. So I like to call it as like, think about it when you're in Cancun, all inclusive, right? You have restaurants, you have a place to sleep, you have people that could help you out. It was like just all inclusive. So then what is the end users going to focus on? Closing more deals and making more money. And then that's a higher return on investment, in my opinion.
Yep. So did you have a technical background? No.
I went to school for finance.
Okay. It's funny because obviously me either, no technical background. And it's like you just kind of jump in.
most real estate people are like sales, and that's what the industry is, right? These marketing, these technical, for them, it's like, if it gets me closer to get more deals done, like I'm happy.
Right.
And I think that's when we see, like me and you, we see like a gap of like, oh, I like this better.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start building it. And I was like, oh crap, other people might, be beneficial to this. It's like, oh, here you go.
Yep.
And then now it's kind of like, oh, now I could build like a system that works for other people. And I think that's super, super awesome too. There's an impact there.
Dude, there's a massive impact. So where would you say like your focus is now? Is it still like 50% of your focus is wholesale, 50% is like trying to build and sell software, or how does that weigh out for you?
Right now, I'm still wholesaling. We're still actively doing deals, and we just got a deal under contract too. So luckily, I have an acquisition manager that does that. And what I focus more now is just like I spend about 15 to 30 minutes just scheduling my AI outreach,
Okay.
like Monday or Friday. And then the AI would have like 10,000, like even more conversations as the seller passes or as the seller have conversations. And then it would automatically add into our pipeline. And that's when my acquisition guy gets like a phone call, or they would call, and then they just focus on closing more deals.
Okay.
And I focus on like the dispo, which is not a lot of work per se, because it's in my market. And at the same time, like I focus on the systems while helping other investors, get their deals as well.
I love it. All right, so let's nerd out a little bit. So let's talk about some of the AI capability within the platform, right? So you mentioned AI agents. What's an AI agent?
So our AI agent could have multiple different uses, right? An AI agent is basically when a system, the difference between like the automations, right? Because a lot of people mixed up like AI agents with automations. Automations is like just a one workflow. If this happened, then this happened. An AI agent take a step even further of like, if this happened, then potentially there's some context here. You're able to make a decision, then this will happen.
Yep.
So that's like the difference between the AI agents and automations. I think a lot of people get that mixed up.
Dude, totally. And a quick sidebar, like up until 3 months ago, like AI agents have been a thing for, I don't know how long now, a little over a year, 2 years, maybe a year and a half that people have been talking about them. And that was my beef with everything. It's like I played around with everything. Like as soon as anything existed, it's like I've been on every single AI platform that's existed in the last 2 years, But I couldn't find a real use for AI agents up until 3 months ago because I'm really good at automations. And the reality is most things that we do like in real estate or in wholesaling, it's like most of the stuff doesn't really need AI intelligence. You just kind of need an automation, And it's
Exactly.
like people were building AI agents because it was a sexy buzzword thing and everything. But really all that it was, there wasn't even intelligence plugged in. It was just a fucking automated workflow. And they're like, It's an AI agent. Now I'll say within the last 3 months, it's like the game has kind of changed. And it's like, even for people that may have already had good automations and technology plugged into their business, there's real use cases now.
Yeah, because with one AI agent, you could have like 10,000 different automations on the back end, depending on what's triggering it and what's happening to it. And also like what it's called like a knowledge base of its brain, right? Sometimes you have no knowledge base, so they just assume like everything is new. Whereas a knowledge base is like, okay, now think of it as like I'm Drew Farnese, and this is how I respond. This is my preferred way of speaking, and this is how I close deals. So you could build a brain on it, and that's pretty awesome.
All right, so we know what AI agents are now. So how are you leveraging them? Or if I were a client of yours and I used your platform, how would I best leverage agents to get productivity?
So in terms of productivity, the AI agents would pre-qualify in a lead.
Okay.
That's number one, right? Either through text or call. And I'm happy to show you one of our AI agents.
That'd be dope.
And then essentially it's like a very super long, complicated prompt because we've been A/B testing it so much. It's like, if this happened, that happened, this happened, this happened, different contexts and different things like that. And the AI agents would do an outreach. We would send out like an SMS or we do outbound calling. And then the AI agent would have conversations with the seller back and forth. It's like, oh, what got you? Like, it's the 4 pillars, right? Price, motivation, timeline, and condition of the property. As long as they hit 2 or 3 out of the 4 and maybe like 5 of like vacancy or occupied, like that's when it triggers the booked appointments. And then that's when you get a notifications on your phone of like, hey, we got this seller who's looking to sell. And then once that comes in, like my acquisition guy can come in, look at the notes, everything will be on there. So they don't even have to scroll up to figure out, it's like, oh, what did they talk about? Like everything is summarized.
Summarized, yeah.
Yeah. And then we take it even like a step further. It's not really an AI agent, it's more automations. Every single of our calls are recorded, transcribed, And we even take it a step further of summarizing it. So it's not like just a bunch of like words. We're like, hey, same thing, timeline, price, conditions, like, or recommendations for deals. So one of our prompt is actually on the transcriptions is we list out all types of different strategies, like sub 2, right? Or mortgage wrap, like even like the strategies that not a lot of people know because they see it as like wholesale novations or listed with an agent or something like that, right? Yep. That's like the basic. But then we took a step further. It's like, hey, maybe you could do this depending on like the conversations. And then they do that every single conversations.
Nice. I love that. I love that. So the AI agent is doing the same work that previously you would have had to either do yourself in cold call or cold outreach or hire a VA to do.
Correct.
It's doing the work of those. It's taking jobs, man. It's taking jobs.
Do you want to hear it?
I would love to. Let's do it.
So I'm going to put this on speaker and I'm going to call our AI agent. 329 0078.
Hello, this is Ava. Thanks for calling. Real quick, are you looking to sell your property?
Yes, I'm looking to sell.
Got it. What's got you thinking about selling?
Going through a divorce right now.
I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like a tough time. Selling the property might help simplify things a bit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to sell. Like, what's your offer?
Totally fair. The offer really depends on the condition of the property, your timeline, and a few other details. James on our team handles all the numbers and walks you through options. If it helps, we close quickly, cover all closing costs, and there are no fees. What kind of shape is the property in right now?
I mean, it's probably need a full rehab right now. You guys probably need a contractor.
It might need some. It definitely sounds like there's some work to be done. James is great at figuring out what's needed and working through options. What kind of timing are you thinking about for selling?
So for just time's sake, it will go through exactly all the pillars, and then towards the end, it will book the appointments for James and also the availability of the seller, and then James can call that person at that booked appointment times.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
And we even have like our AI have like inflection points or like, oh, got it, right? So it sounds. We try to make it as natural as possible.
Yeah.
And it still baffles me to this day how like we would have sellers that have 10-minute, 15-minute conversations, like we do have a limit just because it is priced by the minute.
Yeah.
But that's how, we taking like so much leads.
Dude, let it rip. Do 60-minute cap, man. Let it rip.
Oh man, that's expensive.
Well, all right, so let's talk about that. The cost. What are we looking at for an AI voice agent to have a conversation? How much does that cost?
So typically it's by per minute basis. So it could be from like 13 cents, and depending on the plan, we could even dumb it down to like 10 cents per minute. So it gets quite expensive. Just because it's a lot of transcriptions and things like that.
Sure. But if you compare that to a human.
Correct. Yeah.
It's pretty damn cheap.
24/7 too.
Pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Yep.
And same thing with our text. It's about 2 cents per segment. So a segment is 160 characters or less.
Okay. Gotcha. So are you, I guess this is a two-part question. Are you right now doing only AI follow-up with leads, or are you doing cold outreach also?
Cold outreach as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Have you looked into the compliance stuff for that?
Yeah, we try to stay compliant as well. That's how we're able to send, in a month of November, we sent 38,000 texts. And then in a month of December, we actually sent 56,000. So we're like testing out the gray area.
Okay.
We're TCPA compliant as well, making sure that, the company's name is on there, the unsubscribe.
You're putting the opt-out language.
Opt-out language, things like that.
So sucks, man.
It is. But the most important thing, right, during a text message is number one is number sustainability. Mm-hmm. And we do that we send out like a ringless voicemail before we send out the text. So within our automations, send a ringless voicemail first and then send out the text like 4 or 5 minutes after.
Okay.
And the reason why we do that is from a carrier perspective, it looks like we already had a call and there's a pre-existing relationship between these two numbers. And then afterwards, we would send out the text. That way, it's more like on a technical side that helps. Like I never change our number for the outreach. So it's never like ban or spam or things like that. And then afterwards, we would have those conversations with the seller.
Wait, say that again. You've never changed your number?
We never change our number when we do an outbound. So it's like...
Elaborate.
So meaning that sometimes when people do outbound, like I've seen people, for example, like doing a calling or the texting, they would churn different numbers. We never done that.
Really?
Yeah. We kept it the same one.
Only one?
Only one.
One.
Just one for the outbound.
And how many outbound calls or texts are you doing any given week, month, whatever?
So on average now, from a texting perspective, we would send out probably between 2,500 to 3,000 text message per day.
And you're using that same number for texting and calling?
Correct.
There's no fucking way that doesn't show as spam likely.
No.
There's no way.
The ringless voicemail helps. And also too, one of the methods that we use is we do batch text message. Just so I've seen people where they would send out like 1,000 text message in one go. That is a no-no.
Yeah.
We would send out throughout the day, and we're respectful of other people's time between 9 to 5, 9 to 6, Monday to Friday. Like we don't send out texts on like Saturdays or Sundays. Just be respectful of people's family time and things like that. And we would send out 5, 10, like 15 at a time every few minutes.
Okay.
So throughout the day, I mean, it doesn't really matter for the end user because the AI is going to have conversations throughout the whole time anyway.
Well, so that makes sense. I get that for if you're doing RVM or text, because of course it's not going to show as spam likely or whatever. But are you using that same number for the AI voice agent to call people, to make calls?
Yeah, we have a different AI voice because it's through like a third party. For the AI voice, we have the inbound already like button up. It's the outbound where we have to stay compliant. For example, we have to mention that, hey, it is AI. Hey, you're able to opt out. The same thing as message. It's a pain, but at the same time, we want to stay compliant and go above board for everyone.
Gotcha.
It is best for the follow-ups.
Yeah.
Like if do outbound, like the follow-ups, just because people already kind of opt in. And eventually like, hey, just following up. It's just more of like a warm conversations as opposed to like, hey, are you looking to sell your home right now?
Right. Yep. That totally makes sense. And it's funny, like looking back to, man, I want to kick myself for so many things that I've done in the past. But years ago, I really thought that SMS was just going away and it was going to get banned. Like this was probably 7 years ago. And it's like, there was a lot of pressure from TCPA on compliance, whatever. And I was already doing really well with direct mail. And I had set up some like texting campaigns on the biggest platform at the time that doesn't even exist anymore. But I just never really focused on it. And I had a buddy of mine, Phil. I've told this story probably on this podcast 5 times now because fuck my life. But Phil wasn't very technical and he was trying to set up some SMS stuff and everything. And like, I don't know, a year went by, a year and a half went by. I helped him set his stuff up and everything. And then he took the ball and ran with it. And I was talking to him like a year later and he's like, yo, you still doing mail? I'm like, yeah, man, still doing good. Like, you know, our return on ad spend is still like, I was doing like a 7X for years. It was so consistent. I loved it. And I was like, oh, you still running text messaging? Because again, in my head, I think it's getting banned. It's not going to be here anymore. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, still doing it. I'm like, oh, cool. How's like your return on that? Like, we're just talking some stats and everything. He's like, it was all right last year. It was 28X. I'm like, God damn it. Oh, I'm such an idiot. And here we are all these years later. And it's like, it's still here. And it's like, you do hear of lawsuits from time to time and, you know, things happen and some big fish they fry from time to time. Yeah. But for the most part, it's like mitigate your risk to the best of your ability and try to follow all of the guidelines that exist. And, you know. Yeah.
I mean, the outbound is important to stay compliant, but it also like in terms of text message, I'm pretty sure Phil got a really good system down for our system, it's like it's not just the initial outreach, it's also like the consistent follow-ups. I think that if you're doing cold outreach, right, and any capability, like after it might take a few months for you to close that deal, just because what we've seen as well, based on our messaging, and we've been testing out so much different messaging, there are people who are just looking for offers, right? And sometimes you have to nurture them to like, hey, I know you're looking for this, like we have this other solutions and things like that. Our kind of platform does automatic follow-ups consistently. We take it even a step further and uses like the LLM models to personalize the messages so it doesn't sound like a generic, hey, just follow up, it's been like a week or something like that. We make it more personalized, like, hey, things happen, or like holiday season coming up. So it's like, it's relevant, and at the same time, it sounds more natural as opposed to the generic text message that a lot of people are using for follow-ups.
That makes sense. Maybe this is more technical than people care about, but I care. So for opt-out language, does that remain with your system as a text conversation continues, or does opt-out language only happen on initial outreach?
Initial outreach.
Okay.
Yep.
So text message number 2, no opt-out language.
Correct.
Okay. Because I have seen platforms in the past where it's like, the opt-out language is in every message, and it's like, that's just too tempting. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's not, I mean, yes, you're texting a business, but it's also like real people, like,
Right.
Like sometimes when we have a lead comes in, like we also have an app. So my acquisition manager, when he sees like a really good conversations, and sometimes the AI, they doesn't book the appointments just yet because they're going through the questionnaires, he would just add them into our pipeline, and then he would just text them right away. So it's not like an AI is texting you the whole entire time. Like sometimes it's a real person.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. I love that. So how long have you been working in the platform that you're building?
So we worked it on our own like company for about 3 months now. And we add so much stuff ever since like the beginning of that 3 months. These are more features that maybe it's actually beneficial to the end user, because it's not like, as you know, in softwares, you could have like 10,000 different features. And I think we talk about this, like if we could just use that one time for me to subscribe for that one time, right? For us, like it's the same thing. Like we have so much different features. Whereas now, like we're actually just trying to focus on what is the most important thing. And what is that? Like number one is the conversations, right? We have the AI that does all that for you. Then you have the appointments, which the AI does. And then you have the contracts. And then you have like the closings. So the contract portion, we even have like a send contract button that like autofills an entire contract. So then all you got to do is literally just review it, and then it automatically sends, because all the information is there. The only thing you got to add is probably like when you're going to close, or like if there's any due diligence period, or what is your EMD if it's not the same for every single deal. So then you just edit that, and then one click button, draft it for you to review, and then you just send it. It takes about like a few seconds, and you could be on the phone with the seller at the same time. So that's like the most important thing too, because I think I talk to so much different investors. How many times do you need to go through, like you go through your CRM, right? And then you copy and paste the address, copy and paste the seller's information.
Stuff.
You go into DocuSign. It's like, oh, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? And then there's no automation that comes before that. We actually follow up with the seller. It's like, hey, listen, a contract just sent out. Check your email. We could also send a text message if you wanted to as a link for you to sign. So it's like, there's no friction there. Like they could sign on the spot while you're on the phone. It's like, hey, are you on your phone right now? Yeah. It's like, oh, I just sent it to you right on the spot based on the agreements that we just had. Let me know if you have any questions.
Absolutely.
Right there on the phone.
Dude, and there's so much to be said about that, and got to pause there and highlight on that, because that for us made such a big difference, like where we would only send an agreement when we're on the phone with the seller. And it's like, of course, there were times, especially before we had really good systems and software in place, that it's like, okay, Sales guy is going to get off the phone. They verbally agreed to a number. They're going to get off the phone. They're going to prep it, whatever. It takes them 5-10 minutes. Then they're calling the seller back and they're like, hey, I'm ready to click send. Do you got a couple minutes to go over it right now? And it's like, once we did that, because you get ghosted a lot of the time.
Yeah,
it's like seller just agreed to the price and you send it over 5 minutes later. And well, I know what they're doing. They're going and they're shopping your offer to other people. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
But if you can mitigate that by saying, I'm only going to send it when I'm on the phone with you.
Yep.
It changes, it improves sales processes massively.
Yeah. We just added a new feature too, even before the contract. It's like, I just posted on my Facebook. It's like the get comps. So we actually partner up with Bricked, and it's like an AI comping tool.
Okay.
Granted, I don't, personally for me, I think comp is more of an art than a science, because you could ask 10 different investors of one property, they could tell you 10 different numbers.
For sure.
Right? So then we have this AI comping tool where it's literally just posted on the notes of like different addresses, days on market, how many beds, how many bath, when the last sold price was. It's like literally at your disposal. Like the way I created this is so that the end user and the investor just focus on closing more deals.
That's right. That's the most important thing, dude. It's like, it's easy to get lost. Well, probably more so for us as founders, right? to get lost like in the weeds. It's funny because so many of the things that I do, I have trained my sales team over the years. Don't fucking do this. This is what Drew does, but please don't do what Drew does. Like a lead would come in from a web form or whatever. And it's like, my sales guy would like pull up the address and start copying. I'm like, absolutely not. Just call it. You're not pulling up anything. Just get on the phone. But me personally, I'm looking it up because like I'm nerding out. Like I just want to see. I want to see the property and everything. But from a sales perspective, it's like, no, dude, just get on the phone. Don't be bogged down by information and data, because you're going to spend 20 minutes and then the person might not pick up the phone anyway.
Yeah.
And then you're going to call them back tomorrow and you're going to try to refresh your memory. What was the ARV on that thing again? I'm going to pull it up. It's like, you're just wasting time. Just get on the freaking phone.
Yeah. We have an automation actually in our system where as soon as a lead comes in, if it's not like a booked appointments, for example, like a cold call lead, it triggers my acquisition guy it calls his phone.
Okay.
It calls his phone and then he would pick it up. It's like, hey, new lead, just come in, press any button to move forward. And it will call the lead that very same moment. So it's like, you don't have because speed to lead is just as important, right?
Yep. That's what we did with all of our web leads.
Yeah. So as soon as it comes in, he gets a phone call for him to call like the other person, automatic.
Yep.
So important.
Dude, it really is. Absolutely. By the way, it's on our roadmap to have API access for property valuations and everything, but it's probably not happening until like at least Q2. So
that's awesome.
I'll let you know. All right. So what else? What else about the platform that you built has like improved your wholesale business?
I mean, it's everything we just mentioned. It's what else is there to add, right? I mean, we have the data. We have the CRM itself. We have the AI agents that pre-qualify all the leads. As soon as a lead comes in, that's kind of like where the manual work comes in, where you determine, it's like, for example, in our pipeline, in our cold leads pipeline, we follow up every 7 days. Our long-term follow-up is 90 days to 180 days. Our offer rejected pipeline, it's like follow up every 90 days if there's any changes. And they all have different type of messages along the way. And the same thing, once for example, our cold leads, those are for our ghosted leads. So my acquisition guy, it's like, hey, I try to call them multiple times for a couple of days. They haven't respond, put them in a cold leads. It will follow up every 7 days. And then if they respond back, our AI would further on the conversations based on previous messages.
Gotcha.
So and then it triggers, it moved them as soon as they reply, move them into a warm lead, notify our acquisition guy, like, hey, ghosted lead, just respond back, respond immediately. And then therefore, he would go through the messages and then he would have that conversation back again. Now, granted, if they ghosted again, move it back to cold leads. But you see how my acquisition guy basically lives in new leads, warm leads, and hot leads. And then everything else that comes after during the deal.
Right.
Which is the most important aspect.
Yeah, man. That's where you want them to spend time. So
yeah.
I love that.
So there's no frictions in our business that let you not focus on the revenue generating activities, which is getting more deals done and closing more deals.
Dude, I love that. So unrelated to the platform, what is your main marketing source right now?
So right now we're doing cold calling and text message. We do have like a team as well, like a real person team that do the cold calling, just as we are trying to, figure out this compliance things with the outbound AI stuff. So that's still are coming in, and that's have been like my main marketing source for like the past couple of months.
Okay.
That's our bread and butter. And I talk to a lot of like real estate mentors, like, hey, if it's working out for you, just double down on it.
Dude, 100%.
But one thing that we are testing out is like paid ads and also direct mail.
Okay.
Just because of two reasons. One is some of our clients and maybe future clients, they may use that as their like main source. So we set up like a phone number directly linked to the phone number of the direct mail, and then they would have a conversations. And we do that so that we could track like how many people come on from a specific lead. And same thing with paid ads. Like as soon as they submit a form, whether that's through our website or the meta ads or like the PPC comes in, same thing, same process. The AI would have conversations with them, depending if we try to limit, it's like, hey, what's your motivations and things like that. But it still go through that same questionnaire. It still all flows through in the same way and get pre-qualified that way.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Dude. So it really is a business in a box.
Correct. It's like a done for you. I think there's no other way that any friction, because I went through the same problems, and that's why I created myself, where I would have multiple different softwares, and it was just like so much stuff that you got to learn, and you got to unlearn, and you got to pay, and you got to, figure out, and then pay developers, use Zapier, and just connect so much different dots. Now it's like, oh, it's like I said, all-inclusive resort.
I love it. I love it. So you told me you're onboarding clients now and everything.
Correct.
What's it called, by the way? How do people find it?
So Automize CRM.com.
Okay.
We're still working on our website. Like we've just been focusing on like the product and sales that we were like,
dude, I did that for a year. I didn't even have a fucking landing page. People were like, oh, how do I sign up? I'm like, I'll get you in,
Yeah, we were toying out with like hosting or Horizon, like this vibe coding. It's like, hey, create this landing page. It works, but then it doesn't have our product in it. And it's like you have to add more codes, and then they charge you extra per credit. I was like, oh man, you guys suck.
It's funny, man.
But like the designs is great. So now we're like focusing on like the admin stuff. I'm still focusing on like onboarding and like, because I think like 80% of this entire the product of Automize is that I've built it on my own, and I didn't have like computer background, but I have like a real estate background, so I know what problems like the end user is going to have.
That's
because
right.
They're all real estate investors, and that's what kind of separate me from other, I guess, technical developers, because they focus a lot on like the coding and all this technical stuff.
Yep.
For me, it's like, oh, I understand a little bit of that, but I understand the problem that we're trying to solve as well. And I think that's more important than like just understand the technical side.
It's so much more important. And like people ask me if I know how to code, and it's like, well, kind of a little bit, because I've had to over the years, because essentially what you're saying is like you're trying to bridge the gap between a developer and an end user, and you have market insight and knowledge and a vision for the product, but you don't know how to materialize it. But the developer that does know how to materialize it, they don't have any of that market insight or the product vision or anything. Even if you try to relay it really elegantly, like a lot is going to be lost in translation. So you have to be the orchestrator of that, and try to make sure that your vision comes to reality.
And obviously that comes in play when you're prompting, right? When you're prompting the LLM models, the large language model. That was redundant. Large language model, LLM models. I just realized that. But when you do all the LLMs, like the prompting is so important. And when you prompting, it's not just a generic ask them like for price, ask them for timeline, ask them for conditions, right? We even take it a step further. Like in our prompting, it's like, think of it as like Chris Voss, right? Mirroring, like what's going on, actively listen. Like that's really, really important as an AI agent. It's not just going through each question. I'm pretty sure when you teach your sales guys, it's like, let the seller talk and you'll be really surprised of how much that you uncover without even asking the next question. Like even saying the last 3 words that they just said makes them expand and more. So there's like psychological aspect within our AI that not a lot of AI agents have. And that's only doing so much cold calling, so much conversations with sellers because I know how the conversation is going to go.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the thing. You need that real world experience to be able to plug in and say, this is what the product needs to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's dope. So what's your vision? What's your plan?
So our vision is just continue on. We have like a founders plan. Once we hit like about 20, that's when we're kind of nixed it out, and then we're just gonna have a regular, and maybe we up our pricing just because we're continually like developing the software with our data, with the prompting, and then maybe like some features that's still beneficial. We don't want to put so much features out there because it might overwhelm people. We just want to put like the most important. And then like the one thing, like just go really, really good on that and see how you can improve.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. So 20 users is like your first milestone.
Yeah. Cause right now, we have about 4 and we just launched probably like last month.
Dude, it's sick.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And these are, not the most cheapest because it's a premium product. It's not like where it's couple bucks or a couple $100 because
It's a commitment.
It's a done for you. And it's a CRM, and not only that, like I'm still in the weeds of helping you out onboarding. So it's like I'm your IT guy because I built this. It's not like there's a guy like a VA that's like, oh yeah, I'll help you with this and this and that. It's like, oh, I understand your pain points. I understand what you're going through. This is how it's gonna help you, and then you're just gonna run with it as a business owner because at the end of the day, like I want more success for you as well. Using my platform because that makes me happy too. It's like, oh, I actually created impact.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Dude, so what you're gonna learn is that just product design, right? The way that everything works. Like my journey was like when I had the first MVP of my product, it's like, dude, it works for me and it's wonderful. Like it's helping our internal workflow. It's making us more efficient. It's helping us buy more deals and everything. But then as soon as I released it to the public, it's like, nobody knows how to use it. It's like, I thought it was pretty fucking simple. I thought everything is streamlined and,
right.
Doesn't really need an explanation. And you just kind of learn the way that people expect like a software to be laid out and a workflow to be laid out. It's like so many things that the average human just doesn't think of, right? It's like the way that apps swipe on your phone. It's like all of those things matter, and it becomes user expectations of how, when I click this button, what happens,
Yeah.
So having to think through all of that stuff and try to think, okay, if I was a new user and I had never navigated this platform before, it's like, is this intuitive? Is this the best way that we can do it?
Yeah.
Because exactly that. It's like when you're setting up, so actually going all the way back, my brain's all over the place because I nerd out on this. With your contract templates, dude, that was one of our biggest issues because we've had automated offers built into our platform for, I don't know, year and a half or whatever. And our biggest obstacle was everybody wanted their documents totally customized. Everybody fills things out differently and all that. And it's like, man, if you guys would just use the same goddamn contract as me, like I can charge you 90% less than what I have to charge you than having my developers go through everything and have an hour-long call with you and understand like what are the values you typically want in these fields. So same thing, I kind of learned like I have something, it works great. 2 of my buddies use it because I showed them and it works great. Released it to the public and it's like, yeah, this this is not scalable, man.
Yeah. So right now with our smart contracts, we have it like a templated for ourselves, and it's pretty generic too because I don't know where my end user is going to be at, whether that's in California or Minnesota, right? There's two different locations, two different laws. Right now, as we're bringing on more users, we're doing that for them if they go to our most premium plan. And afterwards, like we'll show them like how things work, just in case if they change,
want to tweak a simple little thing,
if they want to
whatever.
change to certain things. But the automation is still there.
Right.
It's just like the contact information, like custom values and things like that. That's all them, and we'll teach them how to do that. It's more scalable that way, as opposed to like, oh, what if this, bro? Like, hey, we just updated from our V2 of our agreements to like a V10, right? Version 10 or something like that. It's like, and then think about if you're doing like 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 people, it's like, that's so much different contracts. But we are trying to, right now, it's still okay for us to do that on the onboarding process, but eventually, like that's also another thing of like, we want to have like a folder of contracts. It's like you have to purchase and sale this what we have, but what if they do innovation, right? Or what if they do like some sort of promissory note or things like that? So we want to add more stuff in that aspect.
I love it.
But obviously that's down the line.
Yeah, down the road.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. That's fantastic.
So
So what's your wholesale business like today as opposed to in the past?
So in the past, I mean, it's not been like a lot of in the past because I just do full time. We've been doing like 1 or 2 deals a month.
Okay.
On average, we do like 10 to 20K on average from the past, I guess, 6 to 7 months. It's not that long, and we've been pretty sustainable on that front.
But you've been in the industry, maybe not totally on your own and doing your own thing, but you've been in it.
Yeah, I've been in the industry for 7 years.
Yeah.
So I've seen the ins and outs. I've been in Philly. I went through all the, the conferences and everything. But yeah, we really want to ramp up, and not just the wholesaling is more like an exit strategy. It's not end all be all. I think a lot of people who are just starting out, they may not have the capital, but they want to just make more active income and not deal with like headaches of constructions or tenants. But at the end of the day, like I have the resources if we want to buy on our own. Just have a very strict buy box. Anything outside of that, obviously we wholesale to other people. But yeah, that's the goal.
Shifting gears a little bit to balancing work and personal life.
Oh man,
Where do you fall?
I have no balance. It's always constantly work.
My man, let's go.
Well, I'm different, right? In a way that I think a lot of the people on your show, they have kids, they have responsibilities, and I've met people, in different masterminds, and they are much older. That's why I can't really relate to the people around my age, and I can't really relate people who are much older as well because I don't have kids, and sometimes they have experience with kids that I
Dude,
can't
I have kids.
relate.
I have a wife. I'm still not balanced.
Well, not everyone's built like you.
That's true. I know I'm a freak of nature. That's okay.
But for me, it's a lot of work, and me and my fiance, we actually getting married in this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We talk at least 30 to an hour every day, even sometimes more. Talk about like what's going on. She's doing her master's as well, but like we try to have dates like once or twice a month as well. So I try to keep it balanced that way, but she's very supportive, and I love her for that. That, I'm working 13 hours, and I do like 2 workouts per day as well. So on top of it, it's like
My man.
2 workouts and then like 13-hour days, and I love every bit of it. It's like I think me and that seat is like we're like best of friends at this point.
Man. Dude, I can relate. Do you want to have kids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not now.
Yeah, I said that too, brother. And then I had one when I was 20. So, life doesn't always go the way you plan.
Yeah. we always try to be careful, man. Like,
Yep. That's
So-
awesome. What does your fiance do?
She's in marketing.
Okay.
So I've been trying to get her to help me. I was like, hey, can you help me with the marketing on this front? It's like, no, I'm busy. I was like, all right, can you support me on that front at least? But like, yeah, she's working as hard. We're both like working hard, and that's how we're aligned. We're like sharing the same values. We think about our future constantly, and like the future of our kids. Like for example, for us, it's like because our fam, like I'm from Indonesia, she's from Vietnam, and we live here in the States. It's a completely different, opposite world, and just trying to figure out where our kids is going to go for school, where our kids is going to have friends, going to meet their grandparents. Like those are the things we constantly think about. And the only way that works is for us to be successful in our own fields. And, we're constantly working. And that's why I'm putting all these hours, like trying to improve myself, but at the same time, trying to improve the business, helping other people. Because running, as you know, being a business owner is very, very difficult. And I tell her at times, like this happened last year, like there were some moments where I was just like crying. I got bawling, and I was like talking to her. I was like, this is hard. Like sometimes it must be nice to go back to like W-2 where, you have like a boss that talks to you, like tells you what to do. It's like, you just do it, and then 9 to 5, leave, and then you don't have to worry about it. And a business owner, as you know, it's not even like 9 to 9. It's like 24 hours.
Absolutely.
It's not just improving the business or like dealing with your team members or dealing with clients. It's always like constantly in your mind of how can I improve? Like what are the things? Oh, that happens. And then you got to worry about all the other stuff that goes inside the business, like accounting, like finances.
Never ends.
Human resources. But that's like the joy of it. I tell her all the time. It's like there's so much fulfillment that comes out of this that like I know once it ramps up and we're good to go, like we're going to be set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's really cool. So what was some of the really stressful stuff that you were dealing with like a year ago, if you're okay talking about any of it?
Yeah. A couple of the stuff were like, number one, when I was let go, like I didn't know what to do. Like, cause there was no severance package. It was like a Friday and he was like, hey, we got to let you go. And like, that hurts, man.
It's a shock.
That hurts. And then now you're trying to figure out like what to do. You still have bills. Like that was a difficult moment going through like real estate where like a deal was supposed to close and that was like our marketing budget. Like that doesn't work out. Like I'd done like a little bit of private lending too, where deals like the money wasn't coming in or something like that. That like it's not just like the software itself, but it's also like life and real estate that always goes wrong. And sometimes like when you have multiple flips or when you have doing multiple deals and then things doesn't go right and then you just got to stick to it. It's like that first deal that I've done. Like I was dealing with like it was such a small deal, but at the time when you're like 18 and a half, like 19-year-old and you're like, how do I get through this? Right.
Yeah, man.
I don't know anything about construction. It goes back. But the most important thing of all these experiences is that's how you grow. Like the struggle is where you're like at the highest and level up. Like these are where moments is. And I strive for that all the time. Not necessarily out of choice, but
Right. Well, it's kind of like, it's a way to comfort yourself when you are in that metaphorical shitstorm, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this sucks. I don't like this feeling. But the silver lining is I am getting better as a result of this.
Yeah.
So I think that's a productive way to look at the situation other than just being like, oh, woe is me and everything sucks and the world is conspiring against me and all the bad things always happen to me. It's like, that's not productive. That's not helpful.
I think it's the mindset, right? The constant like thinking there's always an end to this. Like the deal will go through.
And you might be able to get to it a little bit quicker just by having the right attitude, you know?
Exactly. And I think that's important. And I love the struggles. I mean, it's different now where I'm at, where like I could take on that massive risk, that massive calculated risk, but I don't know how it's going to be when, you have kids and you got to worry about them too. But yeah, it's super important. And yeah, mindset is key.
I love it. What do you today believe your superpower to be within life or business?
I think looking at complicated things and dumb it down, or even like the systems thinking, because you live in chaos, I live in chaos, but I think what sets us different than other people, it's like we're able to like think deeply of like how to solve each individual problem. And then even dumb it down even further of like, what if we associate like team members on this and how do we explain to them like, hey, we're going through tough, like this is the struggle, like bugs, or going through like a real estate deal, like teaching. It's like, this is how we're going to solve it. It may not work, but we still have to figure it out. And I think that's for me and any entrepreneur, but for me, it's more like systems thinking and a mixture of sales skills and the technical side is huge. Because as you know, and I mentioned this in this podcast too, a lot of real estate people are salespeople. They may not know on the technical side that me and you know to a certain level, but then if you mix in the technical side, now you're able to like dumb it down even further to like the line of code. And then you're able to like, oh, this happened because that happened. And you're able to like sell it even further of like, this is the feature that we've been trying to push out. I know you're struggling with this. I know the problem. We might have developers and we could explain to them why the problems arises. So it's like a mixture of those sales and technical side.
Dude, the way that I think about what you just explained is like, yes, it is a superpower, but the way that I look at sales, or like you said, taking something and being able to distill it down so anybody can understand it, right? It's like that all for me goes into the bucket of communication, and sales is communication.
Exactly.
Relationships are communication. And it's like everything is communication. You and me sitting here, not even saying anything to each other, just the way that we're sitting, it's communication, right? Like, and being able to effectively communicate. That's why I developed a love for sales over the years, training sales teams and learning sales myself and everything. It's like, dude, it made me better in relationships. It made me a better husband. It made me a better father. It made me like a better friend because I am good at communicating with people, you know, and taking a complex concept and being able to make it digestible for someone else. That is an incredible example of that.
You know what helps? And I think most salespeople should do this is improv classes.
Okay.
Oh, improv classes. Like, so I took improv classes because I wanted to learn how to date better, like have conversations. Because I went through a breakup and I realized like I can't talk to girls. Like, this is tough, like awkward, right? Granted, like I was in real estate talking to the sellers constantly, but then when a girl's like, I don't know. Improv helps so much. I took 2 classes from like a local improv here in downtown Philly. And that helped tremendously.
Just 2, and it made that much of an impact.
Yeah, it was like 3 to 4 months for each class.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm thinking you went like
no,
2
not
nights
just one
and you're
time.
like,
No,
dude,
no.
game changer.
No.
Wow, that's incredible.
It was like once a week, and it helps a ton. And towards the end of each class, you perform in front of other people. And improv, you don't know what you're going to say, what characters you're going to be, where you're going to be. And not only that, there's no like set or like, you know, background or like things that you can use. You could only use your hand and maybe like something to give, like a chair or table. So you got to figure it out. But that helps so much because it goes back to like negotiation too. It's like having conversations and then expanding on those conversations. Like I tell my acquisition guys, like, you don't really have to go through all this script, all the questions. Just literally ask one question, go deep on whatever they answered, and then just let them talk. And that's what improv is. It's like you're constantly creating stories as you go. And that helps a lot, especially in sales.
Dude.
And dating.
Well, it must have worked out, right? Getting married. So, you know, it paid off, huh?
It paid off.
That's cool, man. So if you could go back to the beginning of your real estate journey, is there anything that you've experienced, any wisdom that you have now that you would tell yourself to do things differently or a different path or a different anything you would tell yourself?
I would say take more risks, because the reason I said that, when I first started in real estate, I had the help, I had the mentor, I had like that private lender that helped me out on my first deal, and it kept growing after that. However, it kind of, I wouldn't say stopped, but delayed when I got into the corporate job, where it felt, even though if it's real estate, it helped me, I think it was too extended in a way that I was comfortable. And I think that, and I've seen other people like my age where they took that leap at that time when I took the leap of in the corporate world, and they've done, you know, a lot better. And I've seen that too. As soon as I go full time on my own as an entrepreneur, I learned so much in a short amount of time, between having conversations with sellers, like on the phones, building out the systems itself. Like, heck, I mean, this Automize thing, it took me a month and a half, 2 months just to build it itself because I knew all the pain points, I know all the struggles, and I was like really, really focused on it. But I think, and a lot of like the younger users that's watching this, it's like, it's okay to take that massive risk. Just know that you really, really got to work hard for it. And that comfortability, like it's nice and all, but sometimes it can delay you. And that delayed for me. Like I felt like I could have done so much better if I shortened my time spent in the corporate world, just use that as like to buy more rentals and just keep growing on that, as opposed to like just use that as an excuse that I can't have any other side hustle.
Dude, that was fire. Because I only had one other question, and you kind of answered it there anyway, which was going to be like, what advice would you give to somebody if they wanted to pursue a path of real estate or investing or wholesaling or flipping or whatever? And you kind of hit it there.
Yeah, I mean, that Greg Guzman event a couple months ago, like there are so much young entrepreneurs that's getting into real estate, and it just amazed me because when I was in that Nick Tang event seven years ago, like I didn't see that much young people. I only saw like myself and maybe like one other person. I don't know where he went now, but like in that Greg Guzman, it was like so much different young folks. That makes me feel old sometimes. I mean, it's like,
oh, settle down now. All right, settle down.
But anyway,
how old are you?
26.
Yeah, you're old. You're pretty old.
Ah, man. I'm closer to 30 now than I am to 20. So.
Oh, man, don't say that. Then I have to say I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30.
My mentor, Greg Wright, we never skip one conversation where he talks about my age. It's the most hilarious. Like, when I was your age, I was like, here we go. But like, yeah, all those young kids in real estate just starting out, I mean, that you have so much resources nowadays. Just take it with a grain of salt. And there's so much YouTube videos. There's so much courses out there. The best way that you could learn is actually be apprentice to someone else and work for them for free. That's what I did. Like I told my mentor at the time, like I work with you for 6 months for free. He never paid me a single dime. And I had to pay for my own mojo too. Like he didn't pay me for anything. And that helps a lot. Yeah. And that's how I got my first deal within the span of 6 months, because we would just sit there. He would have like a huge board, like even taller than me, and he would break it down. It's like, okay, this is how you analyze stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make an offer for this. You didn't include the closing costs. I was like, what's that? It's like, oh, okay, so taxes, transfer tax, things like that. Like you would burn so much, but then they do teach you that, but I think a mentor is like more like 101 specialists that understand what you're going through. And at the same time, I wouldn't suggest going up to someone who's like, hey, can you be my mentor? It's like, I think you have to do a little bit more research. And I think this is what's going on with like the job market, right? A lot of people not getting a lot of jobs. And this is the way that you could even get a job, of like looking at other people, like that one mentor specifically, see what problems that they're going through, solve that for them for free. They see the value in that. And then eventually they you form that relationships, whether even just a conversations.
That's right.
But you're able to learn so much. And just last year, I invested so much in like masterminds and mentors and things like that. It helped me like 10x. And it also helps me going through some of the tough times too.
Of course.
With the strategy and like, hey, back when I was your age, I went through this actually. So I was like, oh, cool. What would you have done? And just listen to him, be coachable, and, just execute.
Dude, it's massive. Like I had a similar path, right? It's like I hired a mentor the week that I started, and ever since then, I've always had some sort of mentor or group or mastermind that I was a part of, because it's such a critical thing to be able to shortcut your way to wherever it is that you're trying to go.
Yeah. And
collectively be able to look at the experience, mistakes, and successes of other people, So why would you not do that? It's like, because so many people shit on the idea of paying mentors and everything, specifically in our industry, right?
Yeah,
it's
me
like
too.
People are like, oh, I can't believe you would pay that guy that much money. It's like, you're just getting scammed. It's like, okay, but look at any other industry, right? Or sports, right? You think any professional sports player doesn't have a coach? Every single one of them does.
And they have to pay for
multiple
them.
coaches.
Yeah.
You know, like they have a coach for every single little thing, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't think that you need a coach in real estate because you read 3 books. It's like, dude, trust me, you don't know that much. Somebody else probably does. Now, I would obviously say vet the people that you're trying to learn from and make sure that they have walked the path that you want to walk. Right?
And one thing that I don't see as well, like when you're looking at a coach, right? You're thinking you're investing his knowledge of like, oh, he went through this experience, he could help you out with X, Y, and Z. But even more important is the network that said mentor have.
Absolutely.
Right? Because that mentor, they may have numbers of years in experience in a certain industry. That means like they know people as well. So it's not that you're investing in their mind, but also in the people that they have associated with. For example, like if you invest in a real estate mentor, they might know a certain contractor that fits whatever it is that you're going through or need
massive.
work.
That can solve like the biggest issue that you have.
Exactly. As opposed to go on like Yelp or, you know, TaskRabbit and figure out like the best person based on like reviews who are not investor friendly, is just homeowner and they charge you homeowner price. Like it's personal experience, but yeah, it's pretty massive with the network that comes with that mentorship.
Yeah, dude, this has been fire. This has been an awesome conversation. I know that I enjoyed it. I hope all our listeners and viewers, you know, got some wisdom because you dropped a lot in there, man. This was incredible. Anything else you want to share? Final words of wisdom?
Well, besides buy my software, but I'm not going to say that.
We can do that. We'll drop it in the show notes and everything. So there's links.
I think that, you know, people really focus on like, that's how you become successful, right? Through the mentorships, through the right tools, and constantly executing. I've seen a lot of people that have used these tools, and personally myself too, of not utilizing to its fullest capabilities, which is sometimes fine, but at the same time, focus on like the most important things in your life. And it goes back to the One Thing by Gary Keller, right? Focus on the one thing. For me, it has been focusing on like minimizing the amount of admin and maximizing the amount of revenue generating activities. And that's what I've been focused on. I kid you not, when I first, like, I like to optimize my life. And I kid you not, last year, in the beginning of the year, I would have so much different calendars, right? Family, health and fitness, medical. Now I just have like 4. Like, I think in 2026, it's more like simplifying the year and focusing on like what's the most important. And I think when people just starting out, they want to do so much different things. I think
Gotta focus.
that's when a mentor comes in. Like they shift your focus. That's how my mentor started. I was like, hey, I'm doing like 10 different things. That's how entrepreneur. I feel great. Like I was flipping cars and doing all these stuff. It's like, get it out of the way. Stop everything. Focus on what you're really, really good at. And I'll help you find out what you're really, really good at. Execute on that, and you'll be successful with my guidance. And I think that ties in everything that we talk about in this entire podcast.
Dude, fantastic. So obviously you're on social media. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, it's Aldo Chandra in all platforms. The software is Automize, Automate and Optimize. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Sick, bro. Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Oh.